What's up YouTube fragrance family and friends, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense and welcome to another video review. Today just so happens to be a Monday, the beginning of another work week, but also time for another edition of
My 2 Cents on 2 Cents.
This is the 8th edition of My 2 Cents. Thanks so much for checking it out consistently and making it the success that it is. So when we come back, we're going to take a look at Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lavalier Aviator 2020 release and Pepe Jeans for Him Cocktail. This came out I think in 2018. That and more, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back. So the very first fragrance we're going to take a look at on this 8th edition of My 2 Cents is from a house called Pepe Jeans of London. Now, if you've never heard of Pepe Jeans of London, they released a fragrance called Celebrate for Him, which is a really great gourmand fragrance. And then their flagship fragrance, which is just called Pepe Jeans for Him. They also released Black Is Now, which is another fantastic gourmand fragrance. And today we're going to try Pepe Jeans for Him Cocktail Edition. Let's check out that presentation. The box is a dual tone green and blue iridescent color. The pattern on the box reminds me of that old 80s video game called Q*bert. And if you've ever played it or seen it, you know what I'm talking about, the little squares there. It's a nice looking box. It indicates on the front, Pepe Jeans London Cocktail Edition. On the bottom, it indicates that it is a 100 ml bottle and it is an eau de toilette concentration. The bottle itself looks just like all of the others, with the exception of that dual tone of blue and green, which I really like. It kind of sets it apart. Silver on the top. So all the bottles are miniature cocktail shakers, which is kind of a nod towards the escapism idea of the fragrance itself. Having a night out with friends and you meet for cocktails, right? And the actual cocktail shaker is a nod towards that social lubrication, the idea of, you know, mixing with friends, mixing with friends, having a good time, escaping from reality for a little bit, which we all need that. Well, what about this one is different than the others? Let's consider that note breakdown.
Pepe Jeans for Him Cocktail features top notes of grapefruit and ginger, with heart notes of yuzu and cardamom, resting on a base of woody notes.
Just like what you might expect from a casual wear fragrance, it's not very complicated. The actual note breakdown, it itself is not complicated. Very linear, very simple. Sometimes the best thing you can have in a casual wear fragrance. Let's check out the juice. I really like Pepe Jeans of London's presentation because of how it feels in the hand, and their atomizers are really spot on. They're really good once you get them primed, that is. Excellent, excellent. This is such a good example of how a presentation can mimic the actual fragrance itself. So I feel like most fragrance houses try to do this with their fragrances. You can't always do it, especially with a complicated fragrance. You know, if you got like 20 or 10 different notes in a fragrance, you can't really make a bottle to represent those particular notes. But where you have like 6 or 4 or 5. This has a very fresh, spicy, citrusy, aquatic body to it. Even though there's no aquatics in here, the combination of the notes gives it kind of somewhat of an aquatic feel, and that's very well represented by the bottle. You've got your yellow in the bottom forming into a gradient of blue. It's your dual tones there, the blue and yellow. So you've got your yuzu, your citrus, grapefruit, ginger, those are all that same sort of coloration. And then you've got a little bit of that intensity melting into cardamom and the woods there. There's like a dry, almost grassy lightness in this that is attributable to likely the combination of the cardamom and the frozen yuzu. Almost powdery, lightly vegetal green, and the woods that it's resting on. So this is a little bit of a creamier wood, so my guess would be either guaiac wood or sandalwood, or maybe a combination. Cedar wood, sandalwood, guaiac wood. Usually those are the trifecta of woods that are found in the base of most men's fragrances, and I'm betting that's what's in the base of this. I'm gonna try it on skin because I really like this. I like it so far, so let's check it out. This one right here smells like it might be a really good high heat contender for spring and summer, especially again, the sweltering days of summer. That's what it reminds me of. This one reminds me quite a bit. It doesn't pack that powerful punch that Versace Pour Homme packs in terms of the citruses, because it's got an infusion of bergamot that's incredible in Versace Pour Homme. This does not have the bergamot, at least as a listed note, but that combination of grapefruit, frozen yuzu, and that spicy ginger it's infused in it kind of gives it some depth and breadth to it. Really is very similar to Versace Pour Homme. The only challenge that I see for Pepe Jeans cocktail for him is going to be longevity. For those of you that are really sticklers for longevity, that your fragrance has to give you a good 7 to 12 plus hours of life when you're wearing it, you're probably not going to get that out of this. I would say it's around average, but again, I'm excited to add any fragrance to my spring and summer rotation just because it's going to be a little bit different, going to give me something that I haven't tried before, and specifically for high heat, which is always a great scenario to play out when you have multiple fragrances to choose from instead of just using up one standby. The fragrance Le Male from Jean Paul Gaultier, or JPG, has garnered a lot of attention. There have been a tremendous amount of flankers that have been produced. One in particular we're going to focus our attention on today is a 2020 release called Le Male Aviator. Let's check out that presentation. Nothing particularly new or extremely exciting about this. You've got, I do like the color scheme though. It's got like a dark green, like maybe a navy green version. And of course the hat and the outfit that she's wearing is also green. That's really the primary theme of this, is green. Against, you've got like a tan color, your silver Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Aviator. On the bottom of your can, which again, you don't use a can opener to open, it actually pops open from the bottom. Always remember that. I've seen too many photos of people tearing into their JPG cans with a can opener, but on the bottom you've got your QR code, your barcode. That same dark forest or navy green, you can call it, is the backdrop of the bottle itself, and against that dark green you've got your navy blue stripes, which is really the hallmark of Jean Paul Gaultier's design. So let's talk about that note breakdown.
Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Aviator features notes of bergamot, violet leaf, geranium, tonka bean, and sandalwood.
You have a pull pin to prevent the actual atomizer from pushing down during transport, or really during any time, because there's no protection for the top of the atomizer. Atomizers are always really good, so there's no question there. This one you can actually kind of mediate a little bit how much you want, a little bit or a lot, so that's nice. Oh wow, this is quite spicy, guys. I didn't expect that. It kind of reminds me of, if you were to take Ultramall, which is the sweetest flanker to date of the Le Male DNA, and you were to say cut that sweetness in half and add more spiciness to the recipe, to the formula, that's what this is like. It's definitely more violet forward, whereas Lavalier and Ultramall are lavender forward. This has definitely got more violet, which I really like. Violet is a nice, soft, but very heady floral note, similar to lavender. It's not quite as sharp as lavender is though. It's a little bit softer, and definitely always makes me think of the color purple, because obviously violet. The heavy hitters in this, primarily, you've got your little bit of citrus in the open as just an introduction, but primarily straight away you get deep into that violet as soon as you smell this. Geranium is a hard-hitting, heavy floral note, so it's a combination of that geranium, that violet, and then you soften the edges of that duo with sandalwood and tonka bean. Sandalwood and tonka bean provide the creaminess, and it provides the sweetness of the fragrance. And that's pretty much what you get. So it's primarily violet, geranium, with a little bit of sandalwood and tonka bean, and just an opening of citrus, of bergamot. Again, simple formulas, the most linear formulas in my book are the best for casual situations, because you're keeping it casual, you're keeping it uncomplicated, and that's what these formulas are. Super casual, super laid back, uncomplicated, nice and spicy, but also softer, floral, modulated. Lavalier Aviator actually has kind of a sensual, dry, lightly balsamic, very pleasing, aromatic body to it. It's one of those scents that I feel like, just like most of the fragrances in the Lavalier line, specifically Lavalier Le Parfum, Ultramall, that will actually turn heads and get you compliments legitimately. In terms of date night fragrances, this is going to be a great one to turn to. All around appropriate scent to wear for any occasion. Kind of a cool play it safe office scent as well, with a little bit of sensuality in the background there. I think you'll really enjoy Lavalier Aviator. I definitely am going to enjoy wearing it. Guys, that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for checking out my unboxing and first impression of these two fragrances. And as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.